Today we're going to have some fun and we're going to talk about what have been the best and worst storylines going into Crown Jewel. Not everything has been just all fine and dandy, has it? Crown Jewel's coming up this weekend. It's going to be morning wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Like for me, it's 8 in the morning. It's just eggs and waffles and a coffee, I hope, watching some wrestling, and I'll be done just by the time my meal's over with. Yeah! So let's go through and discuss all these matches that are confirmed, speculate a little bit on what could be coming up, and what we think about the programs. First one we're going to talk about, though, is going to be Kabuki Warriors tagging, going up against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. By the way, this is not a predictions of who's going to win or lose, strictly just how have these stories been built all the way now until Crown Jewel. I think that this is probably, arguably, the best storyline WWE has come up with going into Crown Jewel. I've loved the dynamic of Kairi Sane and Asuka, especially. Kairi Sane is under Asuka's thumb. Asuka has just gone off the rails every single week, feeling like everyone should just be bowing to her. It feels like a little bit of like Roman Reigns, but just a little bit more wackadoo, and I really like it. Rhea Ripley has not been the main focal point either for this entire program, and I like that because I felt like for months Rhea needed to be away from the title, which she is, and it's been nice that it allows other people to shine. Asuka's great, and again, Kairi's positioning in this, she is playing to me the Jey Uso, Sami Zayn role like we saw in the Bloodline, where she's reluctant, where Roman Reigns was telling them to go do these things, hit guy with chair, do these dastardly things. Asuka is doing a similar thing with Kairi, making her do things like beat up Io, beat up Rhea, and she doesn't want to do it. I kind of feel like down the road, you could have a breakout moment of Kairi Sane when she turns on Asuka with all of this. I love how they have built this thing, and again, Io has come off of losing the world title match against Stephanie Vaquer. You needed something to do, and it was kind of like having two stories going on simultaneously. They put a lot of time into this. You've had all of the spots where Asuka's hit them with the mist. It's worked well. The backstage stuff has worked well, and I'm excited to see how this will result. They've given it in-ring time, matches, backstage segments. They've built this thing. Can't say the same thing for everything else. I'm gonna say that this is a big old yeah. I also don't have an official grading system, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I don't rank these things very well. So it's like a B to a good to a yeah. It's just been solid. You know what else would be solid is if you guys hit the subscribe button, the like button, because over 50% of you do end up watching the video at whatever time you end up getting this video on your homepage, and you don't hit the subscribe button. It helps me grow. It helps keep the lights on and keep doing this thing. The next match we're gonna talk about here, Stephanie Vaquer versus Tiffany Stratton, and it's just been nothing. Just nothing. I don't care. This is like a solid not good for me. Why? You got champion versus champion. It's a hard thing to book. Don't get me wrong. I ain't no booker. I'm not Booker T. I don't know what's going on over there. And you just put yourself in this corner where you have to put these champions against each other. This sucked. Sorry. It has. It's nothing. But here's a bigger problem. Yes, you're doing champion versus champion. That's a hard story to build. But there's been these like rushed pieces on both tracks. Stephanie, for example, just winning the world title. Stephanie was doing nothing leading up to the match with Io. She did nothing. They didn't put her on TV in matches. You get the odd little promo from her. I understand from Triple H saying that, you know, she was dealing with illness. It's why she wasn't featured. Fine. Maybe you could have done some pre-film stuff, but then post-title win, no title matches. Nothing. Just more backstage, little promo moments. That's it. Then you have Tiffany. On the other side of the tracks, she's been dealing with Jade and Nia and having those matches. Now, the one-on-one match, Tiffany versus Jade on SmackDown a few weeks ago, really liked that. But knowing you were going to go into Crown Jewel, and you're going to do champion versus champion, you then get SmackDown, where you have the contract signing. And this is your chance to try to tell some kind of story. You got nothing. You got both of them predictably in the ring, going in there. I like you. I respect you. Let's have good match. Also, like the delivery for both of them, I understand with Stephanie, there's much more of just language barrier and trying to just speak very clearly, eloquently in English. It's not her first language. I understand that. I'm cool with it. But when I hear her speak and I hear Tiffany speak going back and forth, I feel like I am just listening to dialogue lines from like the WWE 2K My Rise situation. Tiffany especially just feels like she's got her lines memorized and she knows how to hit that delivery, needs to say the words. And then now it's your turn to say your words. That's what I feel like with these promos. There's no interruption. There's no tension, hostility. I got nothing out of this thing. I don't care who wins or loses because they're both going to go off and do their own thing. I don't like the whole I respect you and let's have a fun match. Also, that segment on SmackDown ended up with Kiana James and Julia getting involved to set up a tag match before Crown Jewel. It's just going to result in Tiffany and Stephanie winning, so they both look strong as champions going into their match against each other. This is bad. Sorry, it's just bad for me. Next match, John Cena versus AJ Styles. Phenomenal one. Super excited to get this match. Glad that they are doing it. Feels like WWE was in a bit of a pickle, whether they will admit it or not, that they needed to do something fun and deliver for the fans because we had the Brock Palooza match and nobody was really keen on that. The build was just nothing, and then we got the match, which was also very much a nothing build. Now we get AJ Styles, a dream match, a match that people have been wanting to get and hoping they would see before Cena retires. Has this been a good build for you? For Matt over here, what build? There is no build. Now, I understand, again, it's like the dilemma of all these things. John Cena is not on TV. He had no dates other than the match at Crown Jewel. So because he was going to be featured there, you had to do something. And that something was some just tweets. They played it up like, okay, John Cena is doing this because this is what the fans want. And Styles is like, let's go. And Triple H is like, oh, are you ready to suck it? And then they made it happen. This has also been like a bad build, in my opinion, for what is maybe going to be match of the night or just a fantastic match at Crown Jewel. The in-ring of this, I am looking forward to because I saw what Cena and Cody did at SummerSlam, which was a stark contrast from the WrestleMania match. It was completely different. Also because there was no Travis Scott. But besides that, it was such a better match and better performed and a better story told. I have no doubt that Cena and Styles in the ring will deliver and they will tell a great story. The build, though, from TV is nothing. What I wish they would have done is that once they officially announced this thing, I wish that AJ Styles was cutting promos about John Cena. I get it that AJ is the babyface and he's also dealing with El Grande Americano and Dom and a bunch of things. Fine. Why hasn't AJ been on TV talking this matchup like it's one of his final ones he's going to have? He's never going to have this Cena match ever again. I think there was one promo on Raw where AJ mentioned it, and that's it. Cena, nothing. As far as I know, I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know. Maybe he's been talking a lot about it, but as far as I know, he doesn't mention it either. You're letting the match itself tell the story and just be the big hook. Fine. But even leading up to it, like before it was officially announced Cena versus Styles, you had a promo from AJ that was during a commercial break where he was saying how he felt he was being held back by people backstage. Why wouldn't you play into that to lead to Cena match? Why wouldn't you have AJ cutting promos, whether it's during the commercial breaks, backstage, whatever, of just, hey, I feel like I'm being held down. I want to have a match with John Cena. Like John Cena did with Undertaker that one year for Mania, where Taker never showed until Mania and then they did the match and it was whatever. But the whole build with John Cena just pushing for Undertaker to come out. Why wouldn't you do something like that? But AJ being the aggressor, being like, I don't have a lot of time left. I want this match, whether he wants it or not. I'm going to go after John Cena and I'm making it happen somehow, some way. Then run some vignettes of John Cena. Why couldn't WWE, with all their billions of dollars, run a pre-filmed promo or two of Cena sitting down? John Cena also, he wears the same outfit every day. All you have to do, Cena, is change the red shirt to a green shirt and a purple shirt and the hat a couple of times, and you could have run 2-3 promo segments in a sitting. So he could talk up the John Cena AJ Styles feud, reacting to it. Do a pre-filmed satellite thing where John Cena says, yes, AJ, I accept your challenge. That's the stuff that is missing for me. And it's that follow through, which is kind of the detriment in what's been going on with Raw and SmackDown as of late for me in its entirety of these things are just kind of happening. So instead of putting effort into it, they're like, the match will just sell itself. Yes, it will. The build, bleh, just mid, nothing. There is no build, but the match I'm excited for. Now, before I talk about Cody versus Seth, because that's the main story in all of this, I'm recording this before Monday Night Raw. Roman Reigns is supposed to be on Raw. Roman Reigns is also advertised for Crown Jewel. And then there's another match that we might get. So I'm going to talk about that too. Roman Reigns may be having a match against Bronson Reed. That's the report anyways going on online, if you believe the internet. I could see a couple of scenarios here for Roman. He's gonna be in a match at Crown Jewel against the Braun brothers, some form or fashion. I think we could either see Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns one more time in a maybe Bloodline rules match. No holds barred. Call it what you want. No DQ. I could see them running that back because that match was a lot of fun. I really like Bronson Reed in that match. Now, would Roman win? 50-50. The other combination is running back SummerSlam. Jay and Roman once again teaming up to go up against the Braun brothers. And maybe you have the Braun brothers win because Jey Uso is all messed up in the head and he, goes too far, causes disqualification. Something happens, but maybe they get their lines crossed and he hits Roman or something like that. Or you do Roman versus Braun Breaker. But I feel like that singles match, that really, if they want Braun Breaker, as they say, as like the next WrestleMania main eventer, Roman versus Braun needs to be special. Not a 1 week turnaround build to do it at Crown Jewel. As of right now, if it's going to be Bronson Reed, Roman Reigns in a stipulation match, okay. If that's the case, how has the story been built? Let's talk about Roman Reigns specifically. How has Roman's build for Crown Jewel been? I'm not trying to be just overly, I'm trying to find the high spots here, everybody. It is not a build. Roman comes back for one of his many returns, which at this point for so many fans just feels like this predictable thing we all just wait for. We know when Roman's advertised for shows. The build for Roman Reigns going to Crown is okay. And I say okay because the thing that I do like is the dynamic between Jay and Roman. I like that Roman is kind of in his ear, in his head. It's causing friction with Jimmy. There's so much good story and history there that obviously they can mine from. I like Jay's position right now where he is struggling. It gives him depth and he's not just yeeting all the time. I like the ending to Raw only in terms of Jay and Roman being face to face and Jimmy's cut in the middle. And it's putting Jimmy in a weird position. And also it's Roman being like, do your thing. Don't worry about anybody else. Forget everybody else. And Jay's all hyped up from it. A little bit on the predictable side. Could use a little bit more, but I like the interactions with the Usos and Roman. So I think it's been okay. The other match that could be on the card because Drew McIntyre is on the main poster for Crown Jewel and everything's subject to change and could not happen. But Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre could be a Crown Jewel match. That could have been on SmackDown, but they've already loaded up SmackDown before Crown Jewel. I think Drew is a big deal and Jacob Fatu has been off TV for a while. Let's do this match at Crown Jewel. How has the build been? It's no build. You've had Drew talking trash on SmackDown for a week after he loses clean to Cody Rhodes. Enter Jacob Fatu. I like the two of them matched up together. I do. Jacob is hugely over. Drew is an excellent heel, and he's always got a problem with everybody, and they can make this work. Just like Drew and Damian Priest, while I felt like the build for them going to WrestleMania was kind of whatever, the match was so much fun. And right towards the tail end, like leading to WrestleMania, the final like SmackDown or whatever, they were putting them through cars. There was a lot more aggression in there. I think Jacob and Drew, maybe they kickstart their feud at Crown Jewel. Have this end in a double DQ. Get them out to the parking lot. Have them brawl. Just put each other through cars. Do something where it's going to be super entertaining and not just a one-on-one match and Jacob wins and then Drew's got nothing going on. Drew needs more momentum. And this can be a feud and a story that can lead for another month, maybe two. And by the time they get to the Rumble, Drew can maybe pivot and do something else. And likewise, maybe Jacob could, even go to Monday Night Raw. I really am looking forward to seeing what they can do, but there has been no build. If this match happens at Crown Jewel, I gotta say that where it is right now, the build has been a no-no, a so-so, a mid, a nothing burger. I don't know about you. Crown Jewel, as I go through all of this, I'm like, everything just feels very middle of the road to whatever, like a big super show Raw, SmackDown, right? And not this big PLE, other than maybe like one or two matches. I feel like it's just, there's nothing of consequence really there because they get stuck in this Crown Jewel thing of going for those titles. So speaking of the Crown Jewel Championship, there's a ring on the line and a belt on the line. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins for the Crown Jewel Championship, Mega Championship, Ultra Champion. I am of two minds with this build. I'm not going for predictions who's winning and losing, but Cody versus Seth has great history, and they brought that up right away on Raw for their initial confrontations. I like all of that. I like that positioning of it because, and I said this in previous videos if you follow the channel at all, but when they had Gunther versus Cody last year, I didn't like it because, well, I thought the match was fine, the build was nothing because it was, I'm better than you, I'm champion, I'm a better champion, the end. This works better for me because, well, you have so much history between these two guys. You have multiple matches, you have a cool hook in there of Seth not beating Cody. The world title is getting positioned way better in my eyes than the undisputed title, the Cody belt. These two, because they have good history, it tells a better story like we saw on Raw. So I'm curious how the match goes. Does it turn into a wonky finish? Does Seth win? Does Cody retain? And they just put another belt and title on and ring on Cody, and Cody's a two-time ring man. I think that when you got to SmackDown and you had another confrontation and you had the Braun brothers, Cody in the ring, and you had Randy slide in, okay, the dynamic is different because Randy's there and you had the tag team match at the end of the night. That introductory promo on SmackDown, Heyman, Cody, and Randy's in there and the Brauns, it was nothing. They were just, we're here. Paul Heyman talked. Cody said, what do you want to talk about? And then that was it. And then Randy Slayton just stood there. So there was no promo. Like, there was no interaction. I like that it didn't take 25 minutes to just do basically nothing. They did try to just set up for the tag team match at the end of the night. So this storyline going into Crown Jewel, it's not the best. I really do like that history of Seth and Cody. So I'm going to say it's kind of like a C+. It's not like really a B storyline. I think they could have told much better dynamics with everybody involved, because when you look at both shows, you could have done more crossover in my eyes. You could have had Roman and Cody and even Randy all standing together in the ring to thwart off the Vision. Becky Lynch in all of this. Where's Becky? Chatting it up with Maxine Dupree? Like, what is she doing? There's no AJ Lee, there's no CM Punk, they're just not on this month, so they'll probably ramp up for War Games. I think that there is way more that could have been done, because the ending to SmackDown with Seth running back into the ring and Cody just hitting a crossroads with him, okay, fine. But I think people are really looking towards Randy and Cody as that story they really care about. So I leave it to you. How has the build for Crown Jewel been? Stay tuned to the channel because we're going to give you full predictions. But for more WWE content, click this video right here. Have some fun. Have a great day. See ya.